So hello everyone and welcome to Constructive Rest. Lovely to see you all, familiar faces. Well done those just jumping online now. And if you would like to lie on the floor or on a surface that's fairly firm in the semi-supine position, and just to remind you, the semi-supine position is lying on your back with your knees bent and your feet placed on the ground on the floor. And you want a little bit of space between your feet, and you want a little bit of space between your feet and your bum, and you want a little something under your head. And that something under your head could be some paperback books, or it might be, you can get kind of purpose-made foam blocks as well. But it wants to be firm under your head because it is there for a purpose. Your head likes to feel the ground. It likes to know where the ground is. Makes your neck feel safe enough to let go. And once you've settled into your semi-supine position, and of course, if you're in anywhere near me, you might want a rug on you because a blanket, it is a little bit chilly. It's definitely getting cooler. And whilst you're settling down into your semi-supine position and faffing about, some of you aren't, some of you are, I'm just going to remind you that this time of year, so here in our hemisphere, we're going into autumn. We're moving into autumn. And it's been really lovely weather. And you can, it's been a bit t-shirt weather down in Cornwall. I mean, it's been fabulous. And because of that, what can sometimes happen is you can suddenly get caught out and you think, oh no, it is a bit chilly. And you know what? Your connective tissue, your fascia doesn't like the cold. It doesn't like to be cold. So I would recommend that you start chucking a cardigan in the car or in the bag that you're taking with you, putting a coat nearby just in case for when it is a bit chilly or you're out later than you think and all of that kind of stuff. Keep yourself warm. Keeping yourself warm helps to keep the fluidity of your fascia. Your fascia doesn't like the cold. Neither do I. I don't like the cold either, or the damp. So here we are on our Tuesday night constructive rest, and you're all settled into your positions. And you're feeling that floor beneath you. It's the end of the day, and so perhaps welcoming that floor beneath you, thinking, oh yes, this is what my body loves. It likes to lie down, it likes the stillness, it likes the calm. How calm is your body feeling tonight? Is there still some frenetic energy running through it from your day? Did you just slide onto your mat into your semi-supine position by the nick of your teeth, by the skin of your teeth in the nick of time? Or have you been ready for this, thinking about it all day? Oh, I can't wait to get on the floor. I can't wait to get down and just let go. And breathe. No fancy breathing required. Just remembering that your rib cage is flexible, that your rib cage can expand and release with each breath. Reminding yourself that those ribs that wrap around you, even the ones right up under your collarbones, they move when you breathe. Your back breathes, the sides of you breathes. There's a movement there. And your job is really to stay out of the way of that, to make sure that your connective tissue and your musculature isn't so tight that your rib cage cannot move. And when we first start working in this way, we can recognize some parts of the rib cage not moving, and then it becomes a more subtle game, a more subtle investigation. Because when do you grip your rib cage? It might not be all the time. It might just be when you're stressed, when you're in a hurry. It might be when you're in some people's company. Certain people can make us very discombobulated. So right now, just in your own company and mine, I suppose, just connect in with that sort of cylindrical shaped rib cage that's wrapping around you and notice Notice what it's doing. Is it moving? Is it easy? Are patches of it held? Could you bring your awareness to your shoulder blades? Your left shoulder blade, your right shoulder blade. And in that awareness, could you ask the muscles around the shoulder blades to release a bit, to let go of it? As if the shoulder blades themselves were being supported by the ground beneath you. The shoulder blades being supported by the ground beneath you, so you don't have to hang on in your upper back. You don't have to hang on in your mid-back, because the ground is supporting you. And you don't even need to hang on in your belly and your tummy and your lower back, because the ground is supporting you. And when everything starts to settle in your body and ease into this moment, and you think to yourself, oh yes, this is feeling like a relief now. I'm here and I'm landed. At that point, you might start thinking a little bit more about what you want, about your length and your width, about thinking this part of your body away from that part of your body. But this little moment where all three of us really tend to ramble on a bit at the beginning, I'm probably the most rambly. It's to give your nervous system time to catch up with you, to be in this moment, here and now. And it's a good time to observe, to check in on yourself, to check that you're okay in your body, in your mind, in your spirit. And then we can get to the business of thinking directions. And we're going to ask for the neck to free, because that is a classic Alexander thinking direction, perfect for this situation. Your head is resting on those blocks or books, whatever you've chosen, and it's safe and it's there. And your brain can know that because you can feel the back of your head resting on your books or blocks. And I would like you to make a micro movement and just let your head roll a millimeter to the left and the right, as if you were saying to yourself, oh yes, they're definitely there. Those books are definitely under my head. And then back in that still moment, you're going to say to yourself, now I can let my neck go. Now I can ask for the muscles that are attached to the base of my the base of my skull, to lengthen down through to my shoulder girdle. Thinking of a softness and undoing at the base of your skull, a widening at the base of the skull. And then asking for the musculature, the connective tissue, to lengthen from the base of your skull down into your shoulder girdle. You might imagine that lengthening connective tissue sweeping over the tops of your shoulders and all the way down through to your elbows. You might think of your connective tissue and muscle going from your base of skull, sweeping down the back of your neck and down through to the very bottom, the tips of your shoulder blades. You can even think of the musculature from the base of your skull, sweeping down the back of your neck, around and through to your chest. Asking for a bit of length through the back of the neck. And checking in with the front of the neck, checking in from under the chin down through to the collarbones at the front of you, that area can soften and release. Because we want your head to rest there on these books in a kind of relaxed and balanced state, not pulled to the left or the right by any of your patterns or habits or grips. A free neck and a balanced head. I'd like you to join me now in thinking of the other end of your body, all the way down to your feet. I'd like your intention to be softening the soles of your feet, using your awareness of your feet to then connect with the floor beneath you, feeling that safety, that security of knowing the ground is beneath you. Your awareness of softening through the feet means that you don't have to grip in your ankles, your calves, your knees. The floor has got you, the floor has got those lower legs, and there's a support there. And if there's a challenge in keeping your legs in balance and keeping your knees up in this semi-supine position, there's all sorts of things that can be done. You might find that putting a scarf or a light blanket across your knees will help to keep them there in place so that they don't feel that they're falling outwards. You might relocate your feet so that they're slightly further away and the toes are pointing out a bit if your knees keep wanting to fall inwards. But by and large, just know that as your pelvis releases and changes and the lower back becomes more toned and that appropriate tone moves through the legs will stay there. The legs will be able to balance in this semi-supine position. Say hello to your feet again. Had you lost them while you were listening to my voice? Or did you manage to keep that awareness, the soft soles of the feet resting on the ground? I'd like you to think about your heel bone, your chunky heel bone on the left foot and the right foot. And rather than thinking of the back of your heel bone, I'd want you to take your mind through to the front of your heel bone. You don't need to know exactly where that is. If you were thinking about the heel of a shoe, it would probably be the front of the heel of the shoe. All apart from the stiletto, of course, which is ridiculous. Don't wear a stiletto. When you've got your brain to the front of your heel bone, I'd like you to think your way up through your shins. Leave your soft feet resting on the ground and think your way up through your shins, as if you're tracking the support that that floor is giving you. You're following that line of support up through the shins, up through to your easy knees. If you're a fidget like me, you might like to leave those feet on the ground and let your knees rock a tiny bit from left to right, a bit of a micro movement again, like we were doing with your head. And in that mini micro movement, something might find a bit more ease in the pelvis, in the tops of the thighs, in the backs of the thighs. Your knees are at the mercy of your feet and your ankles and your pelvis. And every now and again, it's nice to give your knees a little bit of attention, but also to remind yourself that the feet and ankles and the hips and lower back need a bit of freedom so that the knees don't feel pressured and pulled and gripped. Those kneecaps want to be resting on top of your leg bones lightly. And you can, in your mind, have an intention that that lightness of kneecap is almost as if the knees are directing up towards the ceiling. One of my colleagues thinks of it as a couple of champagne corks popping out through the knees. But if you're hypermobile, that might be a bit discombobulating, so I'd watch for that one, as much as I love a champagne cork popping. Bring your awareness round to the tops of your thighs, right up by your hips. Think of the tops of the thighs in their entirety, the backs of your thighs up by your sit bones. around the inner thigh at the top near the groin, the fronts of the tops of the thighs near the deep fold of your hips where they would fold if you were squatting or sitting, and even the very outside edges of the tops of your thighs where you'd be taking a measurement if you were making a dress. Those fascial bands that wrap around the tops of your thighs, which like to be kept warm, want to be just the right size for you. So you might like to think that, have the intention that this connective tissue wrapping around the tops of your thighs is the right size for you, not too tight, not too baggy. So that the heads of your thigh bones can drop back into your hip sockets, of course. And the support from those legs can transfer through your pelvis, from those hip sockets through the big ilia, the big wings, and round through to the sacrum, the bottom of your spine. Think again of your kneecaps, those light kneecaps resting on top of your leg bones. Think of them lightly directing up towards the ceiling. Your knees are directing away from your lower back. Can you soften the belly and let your lower back widen? Can you find some level of ease within your pelvis? A sense of width and depth. We're going to go back to the soles of your feet again, and I'm going to ask you to think of them as being soft. From the soles of your feet, you're going to think of the fronts of your heels, and you're going to think of those fronts of heel bones as being your point where your support comes from. Up through the front of your shins, up through the bones of the shins, through your easy knees. Continue that track of support through the thigh bones, all the way through to the hip sockets. Release something in your pelvis. As you think about this support from your legs traveling through the pelvis and all the way through to the front of your lower spine, deep inside your body. And from the front of that lower spine, you can walk your way up through the front of your spine as that support would transfer its way through you, from the legs to the front of the spine, all the way up. Keep that lovely thought flowing up through the front of your spine, up through past your diaphragm, up through in your chest, all the way up through to your neck, all the way up through to the base of your skull. Where I would like you again to ask for some freedom, some ease through the base of the skull, an unlocking and ungripping, a softening into length, a softening into width. Check in with your head again. Has something tightened around the jaw? Can you let go a little bit more through the front of the neck? Can the back of the neck soften into length? Can your head feel the connection from it through to your feet? Can you expand your mind and think of two ends of your body at once, your feet and your head? If you're hypermobile or are anywhere on that spectrum, you might want to think of your feet connecting through to the crown of your head. But if you're not, your body might quite enjoy thinking the crown of your head away from your resting feet. As if you were really allowing yourself to lengthen into your space. Come back to your awareness of your rib cage, that expanding and releasing rib cage. Without doing anything, without any special kind of breathing, just normal breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. See if you can get a sense of that movement through the rib cage, the quietness of your lengthened body, and the freedom that that gives, the support that your breathing now has because of your connection from your feet to your crown. So you've been lying on the floor for about 20 minutes. And in your body, that might be absolutely enough time for you. Or it may just feel like you're just finally getting unwound, just getting started with your releasing. And everyone's different. We are all different in this department. Lying around on the floor for hours, well, I wouldn't say hours, but for a long time suits some and not others. And I need you really to listen to your body, because if it wants to move now, then it's time to move now. If you would like to stay there, I see some objections to moving. If you would like to stay there, then you are absolutely more than welcome, because you're in charge of you. But for those that are thinking of bringing their constructive rest to an end in this evening, you might want to have a little fidget, a little roll of the head again with a mindful attention to freeing your neck, a rocking of the pelvis, an undoing of the tops of the thighs again to let the spirals of the legs do their thing. You'll need to decide which side you're going to roll onto, the space that you can roll onto. And when you have chosen which side you're going to roll onto, I would absolutely recommend rolling onto your side as being a kind way to get up. Of course, if you've decided that you need a bit more support getting back up again, you'll perhaps crawl your way to a bit of sturdy furniture. Nothing wrong in doing that. Sometimes the body feels like it sort of wants to move and stretch a bit, and I would always say, that's fine, but do be careful. Don't let it go into a cramp. In a second, I'll just stop the recording and we can all have a chat, but for now, I'll say thank you for joining this constructive rest.